Hey everyone, it's Michael. Today we're going to be talking about the original Goosebumps series. This is the first book of Goosebumps that ever came out in 1992 by R.L. Stine, of course. Welcome to Dead House. Now, mind you, I have seen the TV episode a bunch of times, or the two-parter, whatever it is. I own it on DVD. I don't have it sitting in my room right here. It's actually in the next room over. But I grew up watching that. I've never read this book. As long as I've owned it, I don't think I've ever read this book at all. I gotta be honest with you, man. This is really good. I'm really surprised, especially after the disappointment I recently had with Slappy's Nightmare, the Series 2000 book, because of the ending. The book itself was really cool, but the ending kind of sucked. Welcome to Dead House. I'm really shocked by how much I like this. I kind of just read it just to have a random book to take over, out in public and not ruin a book that I love to death, like the current book that I'm reading that I cannot wait to do a review for here soon, God willing I'm alive to do it, so that we can have a really cool video to talk about something really special that most people don't even know exists. But that'll be in the next coming video or two, somewhere in there. But for right now, welcome to Dead House. I have to say, this is much better than what I remember of the original TV show episode. As much as I liked that growing up, this is better in my opinion. This is just a fun story. It's a really, honestly, it really is an eerier story than a lot of Goosebumps. I typically critique the old classical 62 book run of Goosebumps because a lot of it's not actually scary, like as an adult. Some of the Most Wanted stuff scares me, especially Goosebumps Wanted the Haunted Mask. That genuinely scared the crap out of me as a book. Slappy's Nightmare is genuinely scary sometimes. Bride of the Living Dummy was a little creepy at times. You do have those certain Goosebumps books along the many different series and runs that are genuinely scary. Welcome to Dead House being the first of Goosebumps, I'm genuinely surprised with the stuff that R.L. Stine was able to get away with. This is genuinely creepy. The general idea for the story here, the premise of the story, is that you have a young girl and her brother and her parents who move into a new house because apparently they had a great uncle that died recently, and this great uncle gave them like almost a mansion type looking house, but not like a Playboy mansion type house, just a bigger house. So they moved out to this place in Dark Falls, that's the name of the town. And essentially the whole town's really weird. They don't have any street lights. Everybody's kind of, it's very quiet in the neighborhood. There's not really many neighbors or anything that they see. There's one guy that's really friendly who's an older gentleman named Mr. Dawes. There's a graveyard out nearby. And now the family also has a dog, and its name is Petey. P-T, excuse me. I couldn't get the T out. And Petey is very suspicious of a lot of these people that they encounter throughout the book. Of course, it's Goosebumps, it's a very short book. I won't tell you too much because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But one of the first things that happens, of course, is that our main character, the young girl, she thinks she sees somebody upstairs in one of the rooms, looking out one of the windows outside when they first arrived to the house. And she and her brother, neither one really want to live here. They don't want to go inside of the house. The younger brother doesn't even want to touch the place. He doesn't even want to go inside. He's not even curious about what this place looks like on the inside or how big his room might be or anything like that. But, it's kind of relatable. I've never had to move to a new house. So with me, I haven't had this experience, but I think R.L. Stine really made it relatable. So I imagine how younger kids would feel reading this too. Me being 25 almost, it's really interesting how relatable this became. One thing I immediately noticed with this book, it's only 120 pages long. Again, it's short just like most Goosebumps books, if not all Goosebumps books for the most part, except for like special editions from the Most Wanted series and stuff. Not only is the book short, but in this book the chapters are a lot longer. Some chapters are actually 10 and 12 pages, sometimes up to 15 I believe, from what I remember, somewhere in there. But they're pretty lengthy. Usually with a Goosebumps book, like the first Night of the Living Dummy, which I think is like number 7 of the original Goosebumps classical run, like the numbered books, that book had like 30 chapters or 32 chapters, something like this. I think this book has like 18. So yeah, there's a whole lot of chapters that are, like 10 and 12 pages long instead of just like 5 and then a big old cliffhanger at the end of the chapter, which is what sucks you into Goosebumps. The thing for me, the family argues a lot in the book, in the beginning specifically. As the book goes along, it's not too much there, but at the beginning of the book, it's really hard to get into the story because of all the fighting and bickering and bantering, even amongst the parents. It's not like a situation where it's the parents telling the kids, like in most Goosebumps books, like, hey, you're imagining things. It's not like that. It genuinely, everybody in the book is fighting all the time. it gets real old, real quick. Really early in the book, it gets annoying, and you're kind of ready for it to just stop doing that. But as the book progresses, it gets away from that. I think that's really the only critique I have about the book. But again, like I said at the beginning of the review, this book genuinely gets scarier as it goes along. I genuinely was creeped out by this. Even reading it during the daytime some today, I have to be honest with you, this book did creep me out quite a bit. There is a dream sequence in here that our main character has one night. And it's scary. Genuinely, it's like one of those things, if you've seen my review or you've ever heard me at all on this channel when I've deleted the reviews in the past and then kind of re-uploaded new reviews, if you've ever heard me talk about Goosebumps Wanted, The Haunted Mask, which is a newer Goosebumps book from the last, I think 6 or 7 or 8 years, somewhere in there. That's a magnificent book. It might very well be my favorite Goosebumps book of all time. More of a young adult type book, but still. I talked about in my review how genuinely terrifying that book was. That was the scariest thing I've ever read out of Goosebumps. Easily. R.L. Stine did a magnificent job with that particular book. This book has stuff in it that can rival that. And this book is gory too. You know, I talk a lot about how like the Most Wanted series, like Zombie Halloween and Haunted, the Wanted Haunted Mask book, I talk a lot about how the newer Goosebumps books are a lot, you know, they're not afraid to have gore. They're not afraid to kill characters and stuff like that. I'm telling you what, man. This book, there's some stuff in here that I was really taken aback by, because I'm not used to seeing it anywhere else in the classical Goosebumps run. So yeah, this might not be the best place to start your kids at Goosebumps if you're a parent watching this review for whatever reason, or if you're a kid watching this. If you're afraid of gore, if that kind of thing gets to you, if blood and guts bothers you, or you're very squeamish, I don't think this is the book for you. It's not filled to the brim with that, but for 120 something pages, this book has quite a bit of that in there, and it's pretty surprising. And then of course the scarier elements too, like our main character, she'll wake up in the middle of the night, and her window in her room will be closed, but her curtains are blowing and stuff, and she'll think she hears whispers in the room. It is genuinely creepy. This book really got to me. I'm going to be honest with you, it genuinely creeped me out and stuff. I'm really surprised by how effective this was, because this is just kind of one of those random Goosebumps books that I pick up every once in a while, just to read a different one that's not something I'm really excited about. Like, for example, Monster Blood is one of those big ones everybody adores. I think I've read it once or twice, or tried to read it a couple of times in my life, and I never got through it. I love the TV episodes, both of them, when I've watched them. So I want to at some point pick that up, but I'm not super excited for it, if that makes any sense. I feel the same way about that the way I felt about this when I went to pick it up the other day to start reading it. I didn't really find myself super excited, and at the beginning of the book, again, there's that whole fighting rough patch amongst the family. Once you get through that, it takes off. It becomes a fantastic read, one of the best Goosebumps books out there. But again, it's not perfect. That's why it's not going to get like this amazing perfect score. But again, if you've not read Welcome to Dead House, you should check this out. If you've ever heard of Goosebumps Gold, the old canceled series that never got made, there was supposed to be a Welcome to Dead House 2. I would have loved to have seen that. I would have loved that. I think it was a Christmas story too, I believe. Which there aren't a whole lot of that with Goosebumps. There's a lot of Halloween stories, but not many Christmas type stories. But still, folks, Welcome to Dead House is a fantastic book. If you haven't checked this out, you really should. It's not overrated. There are people like myself that did not expect this to be as good. I thought it would be more on the cheesier angle, like the old TV episode, which that show in general, all of the episodes tend to be very cheesy, very, you know what I mean, very low budget. This ain't like that episode. Do not assume that you know what this book is like if you've only seen the TV episode. Check this out. It's very good. If I had to rate Welcome to Dead House from the Goosebumps series, written by R.L. Stine, I would give this a 4 out of 5 stars. It is such a good read. Again, there's some rough areas to it, but once you get around those, this takes off. It becomes such a good read. It took me a little while to get to that area where it took off, but when it did, I didn't want to put it down. I've been struggling all day to get back to my house to finally finish reading the book because I wanted to so desperately. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on Welcome to Dead House? Put your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. At some point, I'm trying to work my way through every Goosebumps book ever in existence that I can find and upload them here as a review, God willing. Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about this book. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts? Put them down below. Thank you for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.